大家好，我名字叫陈金辉。今天晚上呢，我们候选人 Meet Greet 的见面会。这些候选人呢是谁呢？他们选的是什么职位呢？跟我们有什么关系呢？我们就带着这些问题来参加这个聚会。我们能够来到这个场合，然后我们准备去采访几个候选人，我们看看都能采访谁呢 ？OK，Let's go。
Today, Kelly Cooper, Jerry Sheridan, Shelley Boggs, Renee Lopez, and Cara Vicini are going to join these families' party.
Renee, it's nice to meet you. And the November 1st election is getting close. And here, let's ask you some questions for the Chinese community and why the voters need to vote for you. And can you give some brief introduction about you?
Sure, yes. Hello, Renee Lopez, candidate for Arizona Corporation Commission. So I served on 8 years on the Chandler City Council, and I am running for the Corporation Commission to help keep the rates in Arizona as affordable as possible. With the inflation that we've had from this administration and over the long term, ever since COVID too, we need to make sure that Arizona stays affordable. And that is why I'm running, is because the Corporation Commission oversees the private utilities, and we can hopefully fight to keep it as affordable energy as possible in Arizona.
Okay. And why is this important to the Asian community? Can you tell something that Asian community might not know?
Okay. Well, it affects all of us. So if you're a business owner, you're doubly affected because it also affects your household, because we help set the rates for all energy and water in Arizona. So we help kind of set that watermark. We don't oversee all utilities, but we oversee about 350 water utilities and around 35, 40 power utilities around the state. So within the Asian community, all your businesses, that affects your bottom line. Right now, Arizona is the 49th cheapest when it comes to energy cost. Don't get me wrong, I know inflation is hurting all of us, but what I want to fight for is the ratepayers to make sure we keep it as affordable as possible.
Yeah, you remind me is conservative values that keep everyone has the affordable life. And is there anything specifically you want to say to the Chinese voters, and why do they need to vote for you?
Yeah. So it comes down to, again, the affordability for everyone. My approach, my background is in energy. I have a nuclear engineering degree. I worked in AMWA, which is the Arizona Municipal Water Users Association. I actually worked in oil and gas in the private industry also. So I have a very good and knowledgeable background. So I'm able to really parse those budgets to make sure that the utilities are being fair to us, and that the Asian community is being treated properly. And again, your businesses and your home budgets are staying affordable.
Okay. I think most of the Asian voters don't know the position of Corporation Commissioner. Could you give some non-political introduction to them and how they could vote for you?
Okay. So yes, the Arizona Corporation Commission was established by the state constitution. So the reason is it wants to oversee monopolies within the state. So we oversee railroads, we oversee gas pipeline safety, we oversee, again, the public utilities, APS, Arizona Public Service, that we also oversee Tucson Electric Power, EPCOR, those kinds of private companies. Like I said, there's about 400 of them statewide. So we are elected, so only 12 states in the whole United States actually elect these positions, otherwise they're appointed. And our role and responsibility is to watch out for you, the ratepayer, to make sure that, again, you have an affordable and just rate for the energy costs. That's for your businesses and that's for your houses. So we are a statewide position. There are 3 positions. There's 3 seats up, so you get 3 votes on this. So it's the Arizona Corporation Commission. You get to vote for 3. I am running Renee Lopez along with my running mates Rachel Walden and Leah Marquez Peterson, and we will be on the November 5th ballot. And it is very important for us to get elected to make sure that your rates stay affordable, because there's a lot of people, our competition is trying to push the Green New Deal, solar and wind only type of approach, which we want to make sure that we have everything available to you to make sure it stays affordable.
So you remind me, is this position paid job or a volunteer or?
It is a paid job. It is considered a part-time, but it is a statewide paid position, and not as much. A lot of us have day jobs that do run for this position because, again, it doesn't pay a whole lot. We do it to serve, and myself, again, I served in the Navy. I served on Chandler City Council. I want to continue to serve the Arizona people, to fight for them like I did in Chandler. So you don't have to live in Chandler to vote for me, but if you do, please do. But it's a statewide position. But just like how Chandler is a very, very well-run city, very business-friendly to the Asian community, I want to make sure the state is that way also.
Yeah, from your introduction, it just remind me, it's conservative values. Small government, small cost, low cost to the taxpayers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay out of the way of the businesses. Look, that's the way I believe in Chandler. That's the way I believe in the Corporation Commission. We need to let you run your businesses and run your households. It is your responsibility to raise your kids, not the government's. And what we can do is make as effective and efficient as possible so that you don't have to spend so much money on government.
It seems outside I saw some sign. It's Northern California, Arizona.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in California for about 5 years beforehand. Like I said, I'm a native. I was born and raised in Mesa. My parents were, my grandparents were. I'm third generation. I lived in California from 2001 to 2007. And that's why I got involved in politics when I came back in 2007 immediately. I've been involved for 17 years now. And I want to make sure that Arizona is not Californicated.
Yes, yeah. Need to fight.
Yes, we have to fight for it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, nice to meet you, Jerry.
Nice meeting you too, sir.
Local Chinese community want to know you and what's your position, what are you running for, and why it's matter to them.
Okay. Well, very good. Thank you. That's a great question because the county sheriff, the Maricopa County Sheriff, is an elected official. And it's the only law enforcement elected official in the country is the sheriff. So the sheriff reports to the people. The sheriff doesn't report to the governor or the president of the United States. The sheriff reports to the voters, the 4.6 million people in this county. And the sheriff provides law enforcement, a traditional law enforcement like a police department, but the sheriff also runs the jail. And that's 3/4 of what the sheriff does. So the sheriff runs the jails, the sheriff has a police function, a normal police function. The sheriff also collects taxes, delinquent taxes. The sheriff serves the courts and search and rescue. If somebody gets lost out in the desert, the sheriff will go find them. And so the sheriff does a lot. The sheriff also extradites prisoners, which means if somebody gets arrested in New York, the sheriff will go bring that person back to Maricopa County to serve their charges. And so that's pretty much it, what the sheriff does. I'm running for sheriff because I worked at the sheriff's office for 40 years. It's in my blood, and I'm not happy with the way things are running because the sheriff has two jobs the way I see it. The sheriff is here to protect your civil rights, your constitutional civil rights, and keep you safe. And the sheriff does that in two ways. The sheriff does that by having a jail system. So all the police departments in the county can have some place to bring the person they arrest. And the sheriff does that by providing some very specific law enforcement functions. A good example is we're not a border county. So we're not involved in the illegal immigration issue. But the sheriff has a southern border that's near Gila Bend and I-8, where there's a lot of drugs that get smuggled through that corridor. And so the sheriff is responsible for enforcing the laws and fighting with the drug cartels in the southern part of the county. So 6 people a day die in Maricopa County of drug overdoses. So this is a big issue with me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Let me interrupt you. So it remind me the situation in the California, the $0 shopping policy. Like the people, the criminal can take away $950 commodity away and will not be charged. So, will this be issue in our county?
Yes. So in our county, the way it works is the sheriff arrests somebody, and the county attorney, Rachel Mitchell, I'm a big supporter of hers, is to prosecute the crimes for all the people that get arrested here in the county. And that's also a big job. But the sheriff and the county attorney are both elected, and so we work very closely together to keep people safe. And that's really our job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And what's the relationship between the county sheriff and the city police department?
It's good. It's good. I want to make it better.
And how, what their function different?
Well, because the sheriff main function is the jail system. That's 3/4 of what the sheriff does. 75% of the personnel that works for the sheriff works in those jails. And so our police departments, the 25 of them in the county, are our customers, the way I look at it.
Okay.
And so we need to keep the vacancy sign open so somebody that needs to get arrested can. You know, there's states like California and back east where they don't arrest people unless you commit a dangerous crime because they don't have the room.
Okay.
And I don't want that to ever happen here.
Okay.
So some of the other issues that I want to work on is homelessness. Homelessness
yes, big
affects
issue, yes.
everyone. It's a big issue. Most of the people in our jail system have mental health issues. The vast majority of homelessness have mental health issues, and what they do is they'll self-medicate with illicit drugs like fentanyl. And so they always wind up in our jail. So I'm going to continue with programs that I started in the jail system and work with the shelters. And so instead of releasing somebody onto the street, we can bring them to the shelter instead of just releasing them back onto the street.
Okay.
So, you know, these are big things that the sheriff can have an impact for the entire county.
Yeah.
The sheriff has law enforcement responsibilities for all 4.6 million people.
Yes, yeah. California is a good example to us. So robbery in home intrusion or killing, whatever is big concern to the Chinese community, and they want to know why this position is so important to them, why they need to come out to vote for you.
Right. Well, there's some gang activity in the Chinese community here in Maricopa County.
Oh, I didn't realize.
But it's not like it is in the big cities like New York and LA and California. So, but it's also very difficult to police in the Chinese community because everybody is very quiet about it. And, you know, a victim may not report it to the police, may not report it to the sheriff. And so it's hard to enforce those laws unless somebody actually steps forward and says, yes, I want to prosecute, and cooperates. Because if you keep it in, there's no way that law enforcement can help. And so I would encourage people that are watching to cooperate with law enforcement to help them themselves.
Yeah.
It's not a Republican or Democrat issue, the politics aside. And law enforcement should be done for the right reason, and that is to protect the weak and the innocent from being victimized.
Yes. Yeah, I want to be able to walking at night on the street, not just scare in.
Right.
Yeah, thank you for your running and to serve the county.
Well, thank you, and I'm running hard, and I thank you, and I ask for people to please consider voting for me, and I will help make your life safer, add value to your life, and that perception of crime is something that I'm very concerned with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Great to meet you here. And could you talk a little bit to the Asian voters and who you are and what position you are running for and why it's important to the Asian community?
Okay. So my name's Shelley Boggs, and I'm running for Maricopa County School Superintendent. I think education is important for everybody, regardless of what race you are. It affects our entire community, all over our country, all over our state and Maricopa County. And this position is very important. It changes. The power in this position, if there is a vacancy in our school boards, I would get to appoint people to those vacant seats, which is where the policy change comes in within every school district. So what everybody needs to understand is your school boards, you need to know who's running for school board, because that's where the policy change comes within your school district. So that is not my power. What I get to do is appoint people to those positions to help you in your school districts. So what your job is to know who's running for school boards so that I can help them with different tools that they'll need to be successful in the school districts.
The follow-up question is, for the Asian parents, usually they send the kids to the schools, but they don't know or don't understand how the school system runs. And do you have any suggestion to them?
Again, it's very important to know who's running for your school board, because that's where the change is going to come for you in each individual district. I will be supportive of our good, strong parental rights supporting school board members, ones who want the best for our teachers, who want to empower our teachers with good professional development to help them be successful in the classroom. Those are the school board members that I will be seeking for these vacant seats, and I'm hoping that you guys have those people running for the open seats right now. That's where your change is going to come.
Okay.
For every district.
So that means when the election coming up in November 5th, and they need to not just vote on the top, they need to vote down the ballot. Down
ballot, because our school boards are going to be towards the end. So I don't want anyone to forget those. Those are very important that you vote all the way down ballot, top to bottom.
Okay. Thank you.
November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice to meet you and to answer several questions for the local Chinese. And could you introduce you and what you are running for and why the local Chinese voters need to vote for you?
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate that, and I'm very grateful for your support. My name is Cara Vicini, and I am a candidate for Arizona State Senate. I am running to stop the government from having government overreach. I am running for office because I feel that it is a time when our future is at stake. The state of Arizona is faced with open borders. Our K-12 education system has a dismal ranking. These are just some of the reasons that I'm running for office. But one of the most important reasons that I'm running for office is to restore trust in our elections. If we are not able to restore trust and transparency in our elections, none of the votes will matter. It is very important that we understand that we need to make the people trust them again. Until we have that ability, then I will continue to fight for the rights and the freedoms of the Chinese community and of all communities, of all races and of all colors. Right now, our current representation is not focused on the future of Arizona. It's Arizona first, America first, and everything else takes second place. My name is Cara Vicini. I'm running for Arizona State Senate, and I want to be your voice. Thank you.
So the follow-up question is, so we now in our status letters, we have only one vote advantage. So we just one vote away from becoming another California. And Asian communities care about the $0 shopping policy in California, the higher gas price, and the public safety issues. So that's why they need to support them, Republicans, vote for Republicans down ballot. And we are really appreciate you running for the public service.
Yes, I do thank you. I would like to say it would be great if we could get everyone to vote down ballot. Please take the time to look at each individual and understand that, yes, we do not want California in Arizona. I think that we all know what's happening in California and how our children are not being protected. I am running for office to protect our children, our communities, by doing right by K through 12 and improving educational excellence. These are some of the reasons that I'm running for office. And with our Chinese community, you know, our future generations, we have to teach them now on some of the ways on how to conduct their lives for their future. We have children in school who are being distracted by CRT and DEI. This is not important for our children. We need to get back to core subjects and focus on raising the grade. And I have a very good idea about how to achieve that. I'm looking to give bonuses back to teachers for good performance. I would also like for students to have incentives. We can get them movie tickets. We can get them books. We can do things to have children incentivized so that they care about their grades and so that they can achieve education excellence.
Really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
you.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right now.
Nice to meet you, Kelly.
Pleasure.
It's great to have you to take some question.
Sure, absolutely.
And for the local Chinese community. And could you introduce yourself and what are you running for? Why the position is so important to the local Chinese?
Well, I think it's important to everybody. So my name's Kelly Cooper. I'm a Marine Corps veteran and a small business owner. I'm a husband and a father of two. I live in Chandler, Arizona. I am running for Congressional District 4. It's a federal election in opposition of Greg Stanton. And I would argue that this election is about everybody. I don't think that any one community is a monolith. I think that we all have issues that are important to us. And for me, the majority of people here in this district, the issues are simple. It's the American dream. And whether you came here from anywhere in the Asian community or anywhere else in the Hispanic community or from here, the American dream is the same for all of us. It's the ability to come and work hard, sacrifice, pursue your happiness and create whatever it is you believe the American dream is for you. I think that the economy is our number one issue right now. Our government is taking our tax dollars out of our pocket and spending it in places that maybe are not a priority for each one of us. And it serves to drive inflation through the roof and makes it harder to find and pursue your American dream. I think that security in our community and at our border is a very large issue. And I think that all of us that have worked hard and put into this America and the American dream deserve a government that's going to protect our interests, all of our interests together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you talk about the small business owner, and usually Asian culture has a very good at business, small business.
Yep.
And if we do not close the border, we have the public safety issues. Yeah. So that's why we need to vote for Republican to bring the law and order back to the normal.
Well, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's law and order. Anybody that migrates here from anywhere else in the world or anybody that was born here, the values and principles, the foundation of America, are based on law and order. And we should have that.
Yeah.
Your small businesses are able to be successful because they believe in the community and the community makes sure that they're safe.
Yes.
I have 4 restaurants, 2 restaurants in this district, and it's not an easy business. Mm-hmm. It's one that requires a lot of dedication, a lot of time spent. As a matter of fact, I was a line cook this morning for 4 hours through lunch. Mm-hmm. That's what it takes. That's what the American dream is all about, and that's what each of us do. But it is law and order and security, yes.
Yes. And your opponent is the Greg Stanton, and
Yes,
it
sir.
reminds me back to 2017-18, Greg Stanton have torn down the Chinese Culture Center in Phoenix, and we still remember about it.
Well,
if he
we
cares
should.
about the community, he should not have to tear down the building, the beautiful building.
So I think what you have happen is a lot of politicians say that they believe in multiculturalism, they believe in the Asian community or the Hispanic community or whatever community, and in fact, that's generally speaking something they say to their own interests at that time. What you see over time is they expose who they are by the way that they act. And so tearing down a cultural center is sort of like saying your culture doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Here in America, everybody's culture matters. We come together. The foundations of our country and the culture of America is the stitching together of a lot of different cultures.
Yes.
You don't have to give up your culture to be American. It is part of America.
Yes.
And all of us should be working together, yeah.
And it's not just an example. You see the Chinese culture Chinatown in the San Francisco or Chinatown in New York. And what's going on there, most of the Chinese people know it. And it's Democrats just damaging.
Well, because they don't really care. They care about you when it's time to get a vote. They care about you when it matters. Fabric of America.
Yes.
And we should be protecting each other. You should be protecting me, and I should be protecting you, and we should all be working together based on law and order, protect each other.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a matter of convenience.
Yeah.
It's a matter of obligation. And if you care about your community, if we care about each other, then we do that work together.
Yeah. So we have a Asian business corridor from Chandler along with the Dobson up to Mesa, the main street. So I counted at least there's 5 supermarkets. And if Democrats control the state, and we might go after the fate of the California. So that's why Republican matters more to the local businesses, small business.
Okay, so specifically for small businesses, what you have coming up in 2025, and a lot of people don't know this, there is the Jobs and Tax Cut Act from the previous administration, 2016 to 20. And what that did was it created a 20% tax cut for small businesses. That tax cut is set to expire in 2025, okay? If you don't have representatives that understand that that tax cut is expiring, you will have representatives that will vote against it. And each one of us, me as a small business owner, anybody in this community that's a small business owner will be negatively impacted by that in and of itself. A 20% tax increase right now in a time where we're all struggling, that's detrimental. And you will see a lot of, in my industry, a lot of restaurants will go out of business. And you will see the thinning out of a lot of the independent small businesses in that community as well. Because these policies are designed and targeted towards big business, big government. It's not meant to protect small businesses. It's not meant to protect the backbone of our society. And the backbone of our society, as you know, is small businesses. 100%.
Okay. Thank you for the question.
Of course.
In the future, we have more questions. We can just sit down and talk
Listen,
more,
you can always reach out to me at any time, and I will tell you what I believe. That this election really is truly about the American dream. For me, I was raised by a single mom. I was a Marine. I served 4 years in the 90s, and then I came out and went into the hospitality industry. I came up as a business owner from a dishwasher, a busser, a cook, through sweat equity, and became an owner in a business, and then continued to reinvest in myself, to the point that I have 3 operating restaurants and a 4th one underway. That's my American dream. But I believe that everybody's American dream is different, and everybody's American dream is on the ballot this election cycle. It's the difference between politicians that understand what small businesses are and politicians that are out for their own self-interest. The choice is very, very clear, and I think that we all have to choose wisely.
Yeah, your experience is quite inspiring. And that's why the Asian need to come out to vote.
Yeah. But you're only going to make a difference if you do show up to vote. If you think that you can't make a difference, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you think you can't, you won't. If you believe that you can, you will. And so it's important for every community to show up and vote, because that's what we're doing here. It's part of the American experience.
Yes. Okay. I think President Trump has a business background, and how could he run politics?
How can he run politics?
Yeah, because he's just a businessman.
Well, politics, and specifically what I'm running for, is about representing the community. So in the federal government, you have a president, vice president, you have a Senate, and a House of Representatives. Each one of those positions has a specific responsibility in representing the people. Why it's important that you have somebody that understands small business or has been a small business owner is because they're going to make decisions about legislation that directly impact small businesses.
Like tax.
Like taxes. Or inflation, which is a hidden tax. It's just a tax by a different name. Bad monetary policy is the root of inflation, and it is the problem that causes most of what we see today.
Yes.
Wasteful, high-end spending, and reckless financial policy.
Yeah, the policy usually,
But,
political policy.
but I think what you're asking me is why is a small business owner important in business or in representative government? Because that's a segment of our population. It really does matter. It really does matter that somebody's there that really understands the needs of the small business community, so that when they're faced with a decision about legislation, they can then run the traps and say, okay, well, here's the effect of that law. That will be bad for business, which will be bad for our community. We don't want to do that.
Yeah, political policy turn into action. They will affect the economies.
Well,
Yeah.
would you want somebody representing your community that doesn't have any experience running a small business, that would have no comprehension of what the decisions they make and how those decisions they make impact your community? And I would say no. I think that you want somebody that has experience in small business to be able to make a positive change and a positive impact.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.